The Friday night was in that blurry limbo stage, somewhere between midnight and morning, where the mood could still go in either direction. The vibrations of my phone on the kitchen worktop made me jump as it cut through the quiet. "Don't be boring, Harri." Stefan had groaned good-naturedly when I'd floated the idea of a pizza and duvet fort instead of the party. So I assumed the text was him, from the common room at the other end of the hall, letting me know what I was missing. I probably should have made more of an effort. Steph was the closest thing to a friend in the uni halls I couldn't quite call home yet. When he wasn't making unsubtle comments about how he was sure we were meant to be more than that, the logical part of my brain knew that I should be tempted. Stefan had so dark it was almost blue, black hair, and the kind of bushy but groomed eyebrows that I'd have killed for. So far, though, the overthinking part of my brain, which held me back in these situations, had not let me get any further than admitting he was sort of cute. The kitchen floor was cold against the back of my legs, and I sighed as I watched my pizza bubble and brown in the golden light of the oven. Is it supposed to be like this? 3 weeks into my first term, wasn't I meant to be feeling dizzy with freedom and throwing myself into new experiences to see which ones would stick? "What were you expecting, Harri? A complete personality transplant?" I asked aloud, and the silence of the room felt totally fitting. Nobody around to hear me talking to myself. My phone buzzed again, and this time the vibration felt more aggressive. Not Steph, then. He's far too cool to double text. It must be one of the girls. Messages arrived at all times of day and night since I discovered Half-Light, fresh off the back of the viral YouTube video that propelled them from 3 regular boys singing harmonies in a garage to the highest heights of superstardom. That song had become Closer Than You Think, their first top 10 single, and it had stirred something in me. I'd never felt anything like it before. I'd reached out a virtual hand with no real expectation at all, and somehow found myself part of a global girl gang, bonded by equal parts love and affectionate exasperation for these 3 enigmatic strangers. Sometimes we joked that we needed a schedule for all the WhatsApp messages and late-night FaceTime calls. I knew how the sunset looked from Ruby's 3rd-floor apartment on the outskirts of Berlin, and the sounds of the London streets in the evening rush hour. I had shared lazy Sunday mornings here in Brighton with Gemma as she made her way home on a Saturday night in LA. It made me feel safe somehow, like at any time I could call out and there would be someone, somewhere, to answer me. I squinted at the oven clock, promising myself that I'd look for my glasses tomorrow. It was 12:35 a.m. With friends all over the world, close to midnight was one of the times it could have been any of them. I liked the idea that my final hour before sleep would be spent with whoever was on the end of the phone. It buzzed again as I reached for it, and then 3 more messages appeared all at once. "What's happening?" I asked aloud as it began to ring, and Jazz's face, not a single smudge in her perfectly applied makeup, despite the late hour, appeared on my screen as I accepted the call. Jazz was my closest friend, both geographically, in that we actually lived in the same country, and in the sense that we immediately just known each other. Sure, we hadn't met in person yet, but that "oh, there you are" moment that had made me jealous every time I'd heard it described by the newly in-love couples on American TV shows. That's what I'd felt when I'd stumbled across Jazz for the first time. Actually, what I'd stumbled across was a comment she'd written underneath a particularly delicious Instagram photo of Frankie Williams, one arm slung carelessly around Jack's waist, as if it was no big deal at all that they were now boyfriends. The other cradling, for entirely unexplained reasons, a baby piglet. We'd learned by that point not to question most things Frankie did. "I have always had one fundamental issue with organised religion," Jazz has started. "Let me tell you why.